Most ice cream in your California freezer cannot legally be called ice cream by the FDA. We checked 7 brands at Whole Foods, Ralph's, and Trader Joe's, 5 that fail the federal milk fat standard, and 2 made with real cream. From budget tubs pumped full of air to legacy names hiding behind nostalgic labels, this countdown reveals what your carton won't. Starting at number 5, the cheapest pints on the shelf. In the 5th place, generic store-brand budget pints set the bar for what passes as ice cream at the lowest possible price. These tubs line the freezer aisles at Food 4 Less, grocery outlet Ralph's, and Vons, usually priced under $4. The packaging might show creamy scoops, but the fine print tells a different story. Frozen dairy dessert, never ice cream. The reason is simple. The milk fat content hovers around 3%, less than a third of the FDA's 10% minimum. To make up for the lack of real cream, manufacturers pump in up to twice the original volume with air. Overrun levels reach 150 to 200%, leaving a texture that's more foam than dairy. High fructose corn syrup, guar gum, and xanthan gum fill out the ingredient list, creating a sweet, spongy product that melts into syrup instead of cream. The lowest price on the shelf comes at the cost of real dairy and honest labeling. Flip the carton, and the truth is spelled out. This isn't ice cream at all. Number 4. Tillamook Old Fashioned Vanilla wears its ice cream label with authority. The front of the tub promises old-school creaminess, and this time the numbers back it up. Milk fat clocks in at a robust 12%, outpacing the legal minimum and delivering a dense, satisfying scoop. The ingredient list, found on the back panel at Whole Foods and Pavilions, reads like a reassuring checklist. Cream, whole milk, sugar, egg yolks, vanilla extract. But look a little closer, and even this premium pint includes stabilizers, Terragum, Gar gum, and a dash of calcium chloride. These gums are there to lock in texture and shelf life, even when the dairy content is high. Overrun sits at about 20%, so each spoonful feels substantial, not airy. The price hovers around $8 a pint, positioning Tillamook as a mid-tier choice for shoppers who want real ice cream but may not scrutinize every additive. The takeaway? Even brands that play by the rules still lean on a few extra ingredients, proof that real cream doesn't always mean just cream. Number 3. Halo Top Vanilla Bean arrives in the freezer with a promise. All the taste, none of the guilt. The pint flashes low-calorie and high-protein in bold type, but the real story is buried in the fine print. Halo Top swaps out real dairy fat for a heavy dose of erythritol, a sugar alcohol sweetener that clocks in at about 20 grams per pint. That's not just a flavor swap, it's a full-blown reformulation. The milk fat content hovers around 2%, a fraction of the 10% required for the legal ice cream label. Instead, the carton reads frozen dairy dessert, a technicality that most shoppers miss. The health halo gets even shakier when you factor in the latest research. A 2023 Nature Medicine study linked a single 20-gram dose of erythritol, the exact amount in a pint of Halo Top, to increased risk of heart attack and stroke in adults with cardiovascular risk factors. At Trader Joe's, Halo Top sits at $5 to $7 a pint, trading premium shelf space for a product that's long on sweeteners and short on cream. The label and the science both tell the same story. Calorie savings here come with a side of risk, and the ice cream name doesn't legally apply. Number 2, Breyers Natural Vanilla once stood for simplicity, a legacy brand that told parents to trust the label, even running a 1996 commercial where kids read ingredients aloud and wondered what belonged in real ice cream. Fast forward to today, and the story on California shelves is far less comforting. The front panel still leans on nostalgia, with rolling pastures and the word natural stamped in bold. But the label now quietly reads frozen dairy dessert, not ice cream. The reason is in the numbers. Milk fat hovers around 7%, well below the FDA's 10% minimum. Instead of pure cream, Breyers relies on guar gum, carrageenan, and a dose of synthetic vanillin, a chemical stand-in for real vanilla. That last ingredient landed Breyers in a legal battle, ending in a $8.85 million settlement in 2024 for misleading consumers about the source of its flavor. Even after the payout, the reformulated product remains a fixture at Whole Foods and mainstream grocers, holding on to shelf space with the power of a trusted name. The contradiction is clear. The image is pure, but the product is engineered, and the law now forces Breyers to admit it is not ice cream at all. And finally, in first place, Dreyer's, sold as Edy's east of the Rockies, stands as California's most familiar imposter. The brand's roots trace back to Oakland, 1928, but the tub in today's freezer aisle is a far cry from the original. Dreyer's Classic Vanilla, now owned by Froneri, a global joint venture between Nestlé and PAI Partners, delivers about 6 to 8% milk fat, well below the legal minimum for real ice cream. The front panel leans on nostalgia, but the fine print tells the real story. Frozen dairy dessert. Flip to the ingredient list and the illusion deepens. 4 gums, guar, xanthan, carrageenan, and cellulose gel show up in every scoop, binding air and water into a texture that mimics cream. Overrun hovers near 25%, making each pint lighter and cheaper to produce. The price lands between $4 and $6, tempting shoppers who remember Dreyer's from childhood. But here's the twist. The same factory churns out Häagen-Dazs, a product with more than double the milk fat and none of the stabilizers. 2 brands, 1 facility, yet only one qualifies as real ice cream. The Dreyer's label banks on brand loyalty, but the carton itself admits the truth. In California's freezer aisle, the difference between ice cream and frozen dairy dessert is not just a technicality, it's a corporate strategy hiding in plain sight. Number 6. McConnell's Sea Salt Cream and Cookies flips the script on everything that came before. Founded in Santa Barbara back in 1949, McConnell's is still making ice cream the way the law intended, using real cream, real milk, and nothing else to prop up the texture or flavor. The label on their Sea Salt Cream and Cookies pint spells it out: cream, milk, cane sugar, egg yolks, and cookie inclusions. No gums, no stabilizers, no hidden additives. The milk fat clocks in at a rich 13 to 14%, blowing past the federal minimum and landing solidly in the premium category. Instead of industrial thickeners, McConnell's relies on egg yolks for natural emulsification, just as the original FDA ice cream standard imagined. The dairy comes from grass-grazed California cows, a detail confirmed by the UPC 0752098278284, and a quick scan of the ingredient list. At $8 to $9 a pint, you're paying for density, creaminess, and a taste that actually matches the images on the carton. After a parade of frozen dairy desserts and reformulated pints, McConnell's offers a real cream solution for California shoppers. No tricks, just ice cream as it's supposed to be. And finally, in first place, Straus Family Creamery Organic Vanilla Bean sets the gold standard for what real ice cream can be in California. This pint doesn't hide behind wellness buzzwords or nostalgic branding. The proof is in the ingredient list. 6 ingredients, all of them familiar. Certified organic cream, milk, sugar, egg yolks, vanilla extract, and organic ground vanilla bean. No gums, no stabilizers, no synthetic flavors. The milk and cream come from coastal grass-fed cows, and Straus doesn't just claim organic. They've worn the USDA organic seal since 1994, long before it became a marketing trend. With milk fat levels consistently hitting 12 to 13%, every scoop delivers the rich, dense texture that only real cream can provide. Straus even points to a higher omega-3 profile, a nod to the nutritional quality of their coastal pastures. At $6 to $8 a pint, it's a premium price, but the value is transparency and purity. Starting April 2026, Straus Pints will roll out to Whole Foods stores nationwide, putting this California classic within reach for shoppers across the country. The message is clear. Flip the carton, read the ingredients, and demand more from your ice cream. Which brand on this list surprised you most? Share this video with someone who still thinks frozen dairy dessert is the same as ice cream. Across all 7 brands, one pattern is clear. Most products at your favorite store rely on marketing, not milk fat, to sell something that isn't legally ice cream. The only real test is the label. Flip the carton. Check for 10% milk fat. Which brand fooled you most? Share your answer below.